Reese Witherspoon looks like the Norwegian celebrities Guri Schanke and Caroline Berg Eriksen. Their face shape looks similar, their noses looks similar, their mouths might look similar. They might have the same hair color. They all have the same blue eye color. Guri Schanke has the last name Schanke, and that is a last name which is very similar to my biological last name Schanke. The only difference is the writing method. Therefore, she is probably connected to my biological family Schanke. However, their appearances are not very characteristic for my biological family Schanke. On the information page for Caroline Berg Eriksen, it says that she was born in Sarpsborg. And she is currently living in Sarpsborg. Or I think that Caroline Berg Eriksen currently lives in Sarpsborg. But Caroline Berg Eriksen lived in Siljan for many years, and she lived right next to my aunt and uncle and cousins. She lived right next to my non-biological uncle Per, which is assumed to be the biological third cousin of my biological father. The town Siljan, where Caroline Berg Eriksen lived for many years, is a town close to the town where I grew up. I grew up in Porsgrunn. And I do not remember who said this, but my aunt, uncle, or my cousins said that they live next to a celebrity. Or maybe they said that they live next to celebrities, as in more than one, I do not remember. No, it is more like this person moved next to my cousins, because that is the cousins of me, you know? In addition, Caroline Berg Eriksen was born 28th of January 1987, which is less than a month before me and my twin Anna-Katrine were born. So it seems like someone was trying to make the birth of Caroline Berg Eriksen coincide with the birth of Madeleine and Anna-Katrine. I went to school with a person with the name Caroline, which has a sister with the name Madeleine, which has the same writing method for her name as me. So, since one of the sisters has the name Caroline and another sister has the name Madeleine, that makes me think that Caroline is a name similar to the name Madeleine, and therefore she has the name Caroline. But is there more to the story? However, I do not think that Caroline Berg Eriksen is my sister, but maybe that is kind of indicating some kind of biological connection to a person with the name Caroline, and maybe that is Caroline Berg Eriksen. Caroline Berg Eriksen is 170 centimeters. My biological grandmother on my mother's side is 168 centimeters. And she probably has a twin which is 170 centimeters. And according to the age of Caroline Berg Eriksen, she is probably my biological third cousin on my mother's side. She is probably the grandchild of the sister of my grandmother on my mother's side, which is 170 centimeters. And even though the biological mother of Caroline Berg Eriksen might be a twin, that 2 centimeter deviation does not matter for one of the twins, because one of the twins is going to have the exact same height as one of their biological parents. So even though they produce twins, that does not prevent the grandmother from having the exact same height as the grandchild. Caroline Berg Eriksen have 2 children, and that is 2 girls with the names Naya and Nelia, even though just one of these girls is given on the information page for Caroline Berg Eriksen. The name Naya is similar to the name Kaja, which was the name of a girl which went to my class in primary school with the Norwegian word barneskole. The name Kaja was written K-A-I-A, and the only difference is a K instead of a N. Kaja was the most bitchy person in my class. So maybe the child of Caroline Berg Eriksen has almost the same name as for my earlier classmate, because they are in a family, maybe. And for that reason, the name of this girl, Naya, is not given on the information page for Caroline Berg Eriksen, because they are trying to hide this. And even though Caroline Berg Eriksen have 2 girls and my non-biological brother have 2 boys, they both have 2 children which starts with an N. The whole name for Guri Schanke is Guri Annika Schanke. I could not find any heights for Guri Schanke. The whole name of Reese Witherspoon is Laura Jean Reese Witherspoon, which means that Reese Witherspoon is using her 2 last names as her regular name. There is a lot of evidence on the internet that Reese Witherspoon should be 156 centimeters. But Reese Witherspoon is very popular, and then either she gets the height from her biological mother or her biological father. I think that this should be a known height. Therefore, I think that she is 157 centimeters. Because the height of 157 centimeters is also given for Reese Witherspoon. The height of 157 centimeters is the height of my biological father and my biological grandmother on my father's side. And I think that one of my great-grandparents has the height of 159 centimeters, which is a twin height above my grandmother. The height of 155 centimeters is also given for Reese Witherspoon, and depending on how many twins there is between my great-grandparent and Reese Witherspoon, and that is also possible. And then I am still considering my biological family Schanke. Reese Witherspoon really looks like her official mother, therefore this is probably also her biological mother. And I do not know if her official father also is her biological father. In this picture, Reese Witherspoon is wearing heels while her mother is not. Therefore, it seems to be the case that Reese Witherspoon has the same height as her mother. In this picture, Reese Witherspoon is wearing heels while her father is not. Therefore, it seems to be the case that her father is higher than Reese Witherspoon. I think that it is the brother of Reese Witherspoon, which is in the right corner of this picture, and then you can see that her father and her brother does not have the same height, even though they are supposed to have the same two biological parents. The brother of Reese Witherspoon neither has the height of his mother, because his mother is assumed to have the same height as Reese Witherspoon. Here is another picture which proves that the brother of Reese Witherspoon is much higher than Reese Witherspoon, and not just a little bit higher as her father. The brother of Reese Witherspoon is much higher, even though Reese Witherspoon is wearing heels in this picture. There is 3 different heights within that same family, but they are supposed to have those same 2 biological parents. If we assume that their official parents also are registered as their biological parents. So, since the brother of Reese Witherspoon does not have the height of his mother or his father, at least one of his official parents is not his biological parent, which makes it quite likely that the official father of Reese Witherspoon is not her biological father. Reese Witherspoon and her mother probably has this height of 157 centimeters, which is the same height as for my biological father. It is also the same height as for my biological grandmother on my father's side. Alternatively, the mother of Reese Witherspoon could be 157 centimeters, while Reese Witherspoon is 155 centimeters, because Reese Witherspoon has a twin, or the mother of Reese Witherspoon could be 155 centimeters, while Reese Witherspoon is also 155 centimeters. The mother of Reese Witherspoon is 74 years old. And the actual name of the mother of Reese Witherspoon seemed to be Mary Elizabeth, while she is using the name Betty, because Betty is a nickname for Elizabeth. Mary Elizabeth is the same name as for my biological grandmother on my mother's side. In this picture, Reese Witherspoon and her mother looks very similar, while her mother looks kind of like a Schanke at the same time, but then Reese Witherspoon does not look like a Schanke. I do not think that Mary Betty Elizabeth is the sister of my biological grandmother because her name is Britt, and that is kind of similar to Betty, while another sister has this name Elizabeth, and that is the same as for Mary Elizabeth. So then maybe she is one generation below instead, because having the same name as your sisters is weird. However, they would be biological sisters and not official sisters, so it is not impossible to have that same name. And I do not think that Mary Elizabeth looks like the sister of my grandmother with this name Elizabeth, therefore that is not her. I think that my biological father is approximately 68 years old, while the mother of Reese Witherspoon is 74 years old. And according to the popularity of Reese Witherspoon, her mother could be the biological sister of my biological father. But if the mother of Reese Witherspoon is 155 centimeters, then her mother would have to have a twin in order to be the sister of my father. So that Reese Witherspoon is my biological cousin. Alternatively, the mother of Reese Witherspoon could be the biological cousin of my biological father. And something which might indicate that the mother of Reese Witherspoon and Reese Witherspoon might be egg donors is the fact that the mother of Reese Witherspoon looks just like Reese Witherspoon, and so does the daughter of Reese Witherspoon. The daughter of Reese Witherspoon looks just like Reese Witherspoon. And that might indicate that they have picked out a child and produced many. So that you pick out this child which looks the most like their mother. However, this does not need to be the case because there is a lot of evidence showing that it is very likely to look like one of your parents and not a combination of both of them. Because if it would be a 50% likelihood of getting all the different facial features and not so that the genetics prioritize one of the parents, you would end up with very many combinations and very many different people, and not so many people would end up looking like their siblings. Or if you get 50% of your facial features from your mother and 50% of your facial features from your father, even though different facial features, you're going to look a bit like your siblings, but looking exactly like your siblings is going to occur a lot less often if the genetics would not prioritize one of the parents. These are the pictures which show that Reese Witherspoon looks like her mother, and the daughter of Reese Witherspoon looks like Reese Witherspoon. But how to connect Guri Schanke and Caroline Berg Eriksen to the mother of Reese Witherspoon if the mother of Reese Witherspoon is the sister of my biological father? Therefore, I think that the mother of Reese Witherspoon is the biological cousin of my biological father. So that they have their own little part of the family tree over there where they all can be connected. Because since Caroline Berg Eriksen, Guri Schanke and Reese Witherspoon looks much more like each other than any of my known cousins or aunts or uncles, that suggests that they should be placed somewhere else in the family tree than below my biological grandmother. And then I am talking about their location in my family, Schanke. I found information about another person with the exact same name as for the mother of Reese Witherspoon, and that is the name Mary Elizabeth Witherspoon, even though Witherspoon is the last name of her husband. And she lived in Carolina, and that is kind of connecting Caroline Berg Eriksen to the name of the mother of Reese Witherspoon, because the English pronunciation of the name Caroline is Caroline. Or when I am searching for the name Mary Elizabeth Witherspoon, which is the name of the mother of Reese Witherspoon, different people with the name Mary Elizabeth Witherspoon is appearing below, and they all seem to be from South Carolina. Maybe that is because I just searched for the name Caroline, or maybe that is because the internet is actually trying to tell me something, because I am not average Joe. Here are some information about Caroline Berg Eriksen, Guri Schanke, and Reese Witherspoon.